I can't tell if this TBR is ambitious or not, but it excites me. So we're going to go with it and see what happens at the end of the month. Especially because the end of this month surprised me. There was a book I had already written on this TBR that I already had to remove because I am over halfway done with it. My reading plans got derailed. If you're in my Discord, you know what's happening. You know what I've done to myself, and I am having the best time. I will let you guys know in the wrap-up later on this week. So let's first start with the obligations, and then the vast pile of like, let's see what happens. And it's definitely leaning more pile of possibility and like just prioritization of what I would really like to do based off my mood at any given point. Because April's going to be busy. I mean, I say that every month, but it's busy. I've already had 2 weeks of teaching the load I'm currently teaching, and yeah, I have audiobook time during the week, and I have physical reading time on the weekends, and it is truly a dice roll how cognizant and awake I am at the end of a workday. So we'll see. The first two is we do Patreon buddy reads, and we're really good at having ties. So we have 2 books this month for people to choose from, doing both, one or the other. One is The City and the City by China Miéville, which it'll be my first one. I have not read Street Perdido Station, but this won the World Fantasy Award, which is why it was on my radar. People had said in that video this is like a pretty good entry point for this author who definitely does weird, speculative works, maybe leaning more towards fantasy, but I think the weirdness is the big thing. So I had this. I bought it at a bookstore. I think it was used. It wasn't full price, I don't think. No, maybe it was full price. I don't know. It was only $18, which for paperbacks now feels cheap because everything's so expensive. So yeah, maybe I'll like it. Maybe I won't. That's one of them. And another was a release from last year called The Wings Upon Her Back. I just know this is a sci fantasy that a lot of people who have read it really liked, and I'm still, trying to make sure I have touched and tried to consume a lot of the releases from last year that I missed that might become favorites of mine, especially because I feel like last year's new releases were like fine, especially in the fantasy space. So those are the 2 Patreon buddy reads. I do have a tentative buddy read with Mara, so unless something's changed, we're reading this book, and if it has changed, I will just wait till she's ready to read it. I haven't read this one. I'm excited about it. It's The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich. This is the National Book Award winner by her. I think it's one that a lot of people do know. This is maybe the one that a lot of people have read. I know nothing about it. I know it's in the same trilogy as La Rose, which was my first Louise Erdrich, which is the one I love the most, like that one. And probably just because it was like my intro and I was so surprised. So this is the first one I ever read. And I love it. I even don't hate the setback that much, even though I generally do. So I think this is like the third in that trilogy, and I think this one's the second, and Plague of Doves, which I haven't read, is the first. But who cares about order? I don't know what this is about. I love Louise Erdrich. Mara got to read Love Medicine with me in February, and so we were hoping to get to this soon. So I'm excited. And then my last thing is I've been doing the TBR Spin Game, which is hosted by Freshly Read Books. It's very fun. It's actually really helped me prioritize and tackle my TBR stack that I kind of set a video for at the end of last year. And this last roll was a popular read. It's one that has a lot of hype, and there were 2 options. I chose this one because this one brought me more joy, and it felt like in the moment this is very hyped. And that's Buffalo Hunter Hunter, which this is my edition from Saga Press. I'm very excited. I even have the audio for it from Libro FM. So what's stopping me? I don't know. I would like to read it. I think it might be revenge horror. Unsure, but I love a good revenge horror. Like, I have an assumption that this will be different than what I've read, but if I had to compare it to something, my instinct is it's going to lean more Only Good Indians than My Heart is a Chainsaw, but I'm just always down. It also reminds me of the cover for Devil in Silver, which is one of my favorite books of last year. And I know it's different authors and different projects, but the associations there. So I'm very excited for this. So those were all of my these are for sure happening books, which is a reasonable number of for sure happening books. And then I have a stack of yeah, let's try it out. First, I have no idea if this will happen, but it's coming out this month, and I do want to at least see if I'm in the mood for this, and this is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. It's the second book following Tainted Cup, which I liked but didn't love. It is Holmesian, so I might not love it, but the world is so cool. It has fascinating relationships between peoples and plants and the modifications they do to themselves and their brains, and there are leviathans, and it's a very weird world. It kind of aesthetically reminds me of Elden Ring. Granted, Ryan's just playing Elden Ring right now, but it's just like, feels dark and wet. Like, so the parts in Elden Ring that are dark and wet and kind of swampy, and the plants are weird, is what it reminds me of. So that is tentatively on my list. I think it's going to be between that one or the Jinbot of Shantyport, because I don't have audiobooks for either of them. I doubt I will have the mental capacity to read both, but I did my own personal spinny wheel of an arc. And this is one of the oldest arcs on my TBR, and I finished one of my other oldest arcs last month, and that felt very good. So I'm like, maybe I'm ready for this. I have read the first chapter of this in the past. It's a sci-fi Aladdin retelling, and the main character is this bot. Well, it's not a main character, but our narrator, our perspective into the story, is this bot that I'm pretty sure is like our genie, and I just really like the sass of it all. I actually think one of the robots is a monkey, and that's like our Abu character. And I liked the voice. Like, I thought it was a very fun, voicey time. I just didn't have physical reading time when I first picked this up, and I couldn't get the Kindle. So I was really, like, I couldn't find time to just sit down and physically read an only paper book. So this might not happen, but I think this or A Drop of Corruption, in terms of physical arcs where I don't have audiobooks, is one of the two I want to prioritize. That said, I put that on the list before this was sent in the mail. And I'm having some FOMO about it. I really am. And this is, Esme, your review is partially why I'm like, maybe I just need to pick this up now. So I was sent this by Orbit, unsolicited. It came with some cute stuff. And that is The Raven Scholar. Now, again, I'm having cover associations. I just read The Incandescent last month, and it also has a bird type thing on the cover, and I loved The Incandescent. This is not the same author. This is not the same project, although it is at a school, I believe. I actually don't know a lot about it. I'm feeling FOMO. I feel like I want to sink into it, and it's going to be a great time. And maybe it's going to be one of those books none of us expected was going to be big this year that comes out, and maybe I can be in on the ground floor. I don't know. It's a long book, though. It came with a cute postcard that I'm just going to use as my bookmark for it, I think. The only issue with this is I don't have an e-arc, and I don't have an audiobook. So it would have to be like I chose to read this at the end of the week, long weekend, and I would love it. But I don't know if that'll happen because I haven't even tried a chapter of it yet. This just came this weekend, and I'm just feeling like, ooh, what if it's this X experience? And I just don't know yet. Premise-wise, like, did it give me anything? Let's see. Imperial intrigue, cutthroat competition, and one scholar's quest to uncover the truth. So our main character's a scholar, which I kind of do like. Even though the scholarly world is hard right now. Like, I get very depressed about, like, I already didn't like academic institutions. I never actually thought they were on the side of their students or their employees. They were just another money-making machine. But you never, like, really want to be proven right. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referencing how in the United States we are not protecting any of our international students, which is wild to me. Even I, in my most jaded hole, could not predict this is the response that would be happening at prestigious universities. Woo boy. Woo boy. Anyways, I am excited to read maybe about a book where the world is a better place, but also a hard place, but like there's a distance. Like I said, I have no idea. So those are like 3 arcs that I only have physical copies of. So chances are 1, maybe 2 would get read 2 would happen if one of those is like a 4.5, 5-star experience, which I cannot predict at the moment, because typically a 4.5, 5-star experience, I will do nothing but read, and it will be lovely. And then the last 2 I have on this list are based off my Try a Chapter challenge for the Nebulas. I was interested in both of these, and I have access to audiobooks for both of these. I like the writing style, so I have a suspicion these will be at least 4-star reads, which is very fun. One is Someone You Can Build a Nest In. I will put up an image. I love the protection on library books, but for video purposes, not great. But it's not that long. You can kind of see that. This is the perspective of a monster that's like a Khandra. I think I was combining words there. And if you haven't read Mistborn, it's a type of creature who, when they consume something, can use the bits of the thing they consume completely. Like, if they consume something with a skeleton, they can rearrange those bones, they can use different organs. And so this creature we meet waking up from hibernation early, monster hunters are trying to get them, they're trying to not get gotten, and I think it's a romance eventually, but I'm not there yet. But I like the voice of the monster. I think it's just a fun premise, and it's not that long. And a lot of people love it. So who am I to not try? And then we've got Asunder by Kirsten Hall, who is the author of the Cannibal Nuns book that apparently was for adults. It was from Tor. In my previous video, I said I thought it was young adult. I was wrong, presumably, because Tor doesn't have, at least it wasn't using Tor's young adult imprint. So chances are it was adult. Although that book got a lot of average reviews, whereas this book's been getting, like, the people who have found it and read it are like, oh my god, I love this. And it can be a standalone, but everyone who loves it would love a sequel, so that's why we need to read it and support it and, like, make sure the publisher knows, hey, why don't you let the author write a sequel? I mean, I don't know if I'll love it, but I read one chapter and I was like, I'm in, I'm ready. This seems like a fun place to explore. This seems like a main character I can get behind. It seems like a good blend of character, introspection, and action, and I had a lot of buy-in very initially from it. And so she's a death speaker. So she's, in the initial parts of the book, is being brought to a crime scene-ish. It's not like a crime scene like in a TV show, but death has happened, and they're trying to figure out what. And so if she can get to a body, she can sometimes see the last moments of life and get some insight. And they definitely bite off more than they can chew in these first 12 pages. And we kind of end with her in the end of that first chapter on the run, and you get a lot of fun insight into the gods of this world. And kind of how I think we're at a place where there's, like, only one major god, but there used to be many. And maybe there is still another god that's, like, quietly in the background. But, like, you know, it seems like a really fun, imaginative fantasy time. So that's tentatively the TBR. We'll see what happens. I definitely wasn't expecting the turn the TBR took at the end of March. So my suspicion is I'll start the month off strong, actually getting my obligations done, and then we'll see where I go. Because, like, I haven't even talked about any of my romance books, because I tend to read about one romance a month, and I have no idea what it might be this upcoming month. Hypothetically, I'm supposed to read The Spell Shop with my friends, so maybe I'll finally read The Spell Shop, which is another arc I haven't gotten to, because I've been trying to balance my physical TBR and my arc TBR. Not that I feel stressed by either, but it does feel good to be intentional. Like, I am getting some serotonin from that. What are your April reading plans? What are books you're excited for me to consume on the stack? Because I feel like there's a lot of fun ones. I'm not going to lie, this stack has me excited, and I'm flying off a high of a very good March reading month. Because I remember in February when I was filming my March TBR, I'm like, I haven't had a 5-star yet. I have now. I've had several. It's great. Let's go. The world's on fire, but I have books. It's really the only thing keeping me afloat at the moment. So how's your entertainment life going? And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, leave. Oh, I don't know. What am I most excited to read? Like, I mean, the Buffalo Hunter I feel like is my most excited one. So, but are there buffalo? Put a bison or a buffalo. I think that's an animal emoji that exists. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.